Hello friends, for today's video, we're obviously doing something a little bit different today than what we typically do for World Hoppers. Typically, we do some form of long format conversation that is collaborative, or we do some kind of productivity or reading sprint. And today I am solo, as this is our victory lap video, I like to think of it, which is where we go through all of the money that was made from the previous year and we donate it. And the reason I feel like this is a victory lap sort of video is just because obviously everything that World Hoppers is about is having people come together for us to get to have conversation, to be able to have our various different perspectives vocalized, have these sorts of sometimes fun, silly debates, but then also being able to relate to each other in an area that is typically rather isolated because reading is a relatively isolating activity. So we sort of foster this sense of community, and by all of us coming together, we then put any profit that is made from this toward a good cause. And I think it's not just the people who, I am very appreciative, just to be clear, anybody who ever participates in videos, anybody who ever takes the time to host a video, it's not just those individuals, but all of you taking the time to watch the videos, comment, participate in some fashion, or even buy the merch, where all of that is why we're able to make money and donate it. And I will say last year, during the summertime, we took a little bit of a break for World Hoppers. I do want to get your perspectives as we go through the video on some things that you think might make the channel function even better, or suggestions that you have just for video topics, whatever the case may be. I do want to get your input so we can continue to make this channel a lot of fun. But regardless, we are going to be looking at how much money was made from the previous year and how much we had from profits for merch sales. We're going to combine all of that and we're going to donate it. So I want to start by talking about who we're donating money to, and then we'll get into the let me know your input sort of parts of this. We are going to have less money this last year than the previous year for a couple reasons. One, that break that I mentioned. And two, for whatever reason, AdSense was much, much lower in 2024. So the amount, even if we hadn't taken any breaks, the amount in general likely would have been lower regardless. We are going to have the money made going to Doctors Without Borders. I did donate to Doctors Without Borders the previous year as well. And also something I started to do was I figured because I was going to be taking a break in the summertime from World Hoppers, I decided that I was going to have a monthly donation that was unrelated to World Hoppers. It was just money I make. I mean, my main job is YouTube also. So I guess in a way it's because of all of you also. But I wanted to have a monthly donation so that it kind of made up for the break that I was going to be taking. And that way we can kind of fill in that space sort of in a sense. So I did make sure that I donated to Doctors Without Borders over the course of the year through myself, but then also I'm making the money from World Hoppers go towards Doctors Without Borders as well. And part of the reason that I decided to do this charity 2 years in a row is because I see, one, that it's obviously for an incredible cause. There are so many people all over the world that need assistance of some kind, and I think it's wonderful that there are human beings out there that are doing what they can to help people in moments of crisis. So I wanted to continue to show my support to them. But I also think that because so much of this channel is people coming together from all over the world, I wanted the charity to kind of be a reflection of that it's helping people all over the world. So it feels like it's representing so many of us and going towards a really, really wonderful cause. So we're going to go ahead and look at how much money was made. For the sake of transparency, we'll also go into the literal part of the donating process so you get to see and you know for a fact that that money made is going toward that, because I think transparency on the internet is something we could use more of. And then we'll segue into what are some things that you feel like can make the channel better. What suggestions do you have? Starting off with the amount of AdSense earned in 2024. So if you look in the upper right corner, that is where you can see the time frame from January 1st all the way through December 31st of 2024. And then the actual amount was $450.93. The amount made from merch sales was around $45. So the total amount that we'll be donating is going to be $500. I just went ahead and rounded up. But you can see where having that break in the middle definitely, of course, had an impact on the amount made. And toward the end of the year, if anyone's curious, because there's a big uptick all of a sudden in December, and that was because of the deep dives for Wind and Truth. If deep dive type of content is something that you think is really great to see when it comes to doing any kind of buddy read and actually going through and really digging deep into these various different books, especially fantasy books, then I'm sure there would be people that are happy to do those again. Obviously, we're all here to celebrate books and talk about books. And if the whole idea of doing so in an in-depth manner is also going to play a role in earning more money for charity, then that is definitely something that I'll keep in mind. But again, I just want to reiterate, we'll get to the part where you can feel free to make your suggestions for other kinds of content. The point is that within 2024, we made a total between AdSense and merch sales just under $500, so that's what we're going to be donating here to Doctors Without Borders. I'll have the Doctors Without Borders website linked in the description bar in case you'd like to make your own donation, but we're here on the website, and they actually do already have a specific spot for $500 one-time donation, so that worked out really nice, so we'll go ahead and go to the next step. I think for some pretty obvious reasons, I'll go ahead and skip the payment method and the personal billing information. So then from there, it skips to the donate now, which we'll go ahead and do. And then once you've completed that, there is this very sweet message that says, thank you for your generous one-time gift to Doctors Without Borders. And I actually do want to read through this in case you are unfamiliar with this organization, because it does give you a little bit more information as to what they do. But as I said, I'll have it linked in case you want to check it out for yourself. But it says, your support ensures we're able to provide emergency medical care to people in more than 70 countries around the world. At the core of our work is a commitment to independence and impartiality. This means that support from people like you, Danielle, which is my real name, so I always go by Elle, is what makes it possible for us to be prepared to respond to the world's most urgent emergencies where others can't or won't go. As soon as I did the donation, I got a confirmation email, so I have this screenshot of the confirmation email in my inbox, and then clicking on it, you can see, once again, a similar message is sent here. I did have to cut out part of the email just because I had my address in it, but you can see the core of it, and then also at the bottom where it mentions that one-time gift of $500. So once again, a tremendous thank you to all of you. If ever there are breaks that need to happen again, but you still want to support where you can, obviously going back and watching videos that you might be interested in that are older on the channel is helpful. Checking out merch is helpful. Sharing videos is helpful. Anything that you can do is always appreciated. Just purely because when World Hoppers started, if you don't know, it was myself and then a number of co-hosts, and the idea was that each of us would have about one video a month that we were in charge of hosting. And there are people that life, happens, and they have kids and jobs change and things like that. So it is me primarily that is the main host most of the time. Sorry if you wish that you could have a little more variety. I do try to have other hosts from time to time, but as a result, it's not always possible for me to host every single video every month. Something that I did to kind of remedy this is that I usually host videos, but then I also will host sprints from time to time, or other booktubers will host sprints here on this channel. So we have sprints about every other week, and then a regular scheduled collaborative long format video on the weeks that we don't have sprints. I think that maybe if we try to, I don't necessarily like pushing the where people can pay in the comments, the super chat function. But if you aren't really interested in merch, and maybe certain other videos are just not really something you're interested in, but you really like sprints and you really want to contribute to the money going toward charity being as much as it can be, if you want to try maybe super chats, that's an option. But I would love to know, what are some other additional things that you feel like could make sprints better, or could make sprints more engaging? Sprints don't necessarily make the most money. That's the reason I'm bringing up super chats in relation to sprints. If you feel like you have some kind of idea as to how sprints can do more as far as help World Hoppers earn more money, I'd be happy to hear your suggestions in regards to that. And then with the videos themselves, video topics, so I always have kind of usually some end of the quarter type of stuff, mid-year stuff, and if we do have breaks, then those breaks happen because people obviously have lives, and every now and then it's just difficult for people to find time to come together, like around the holidays, for example. But I still always want to ensure that the videos have value to all of you, and that they are both informative and entertaining, or a combination of both those things at the same time. So what are some topics that you feel like you would like to see beyond just the typical fall recommendations or favorites of the quarter or anticipated releases, because those are sort of the staples that I frequently ensure that we do some form of here on this channel. But if there are other things that you feel like, oh, I really liked when you all did this topic, and I feel like maybe you could revisit it now. Or I really liked, for example, we used to, from time to time, do a Let's Argue video, which is where usually myself and some other people, but if I'm not the host, the idea still is remaining true, where people come together and even though we're all friends and even though we all get along, there are certain books that we don't agree on. And so the joke is that like we argue about it, but it's arguing from a kind of a playful place and a silly place, and it's just fun. So if there's more of those kinds of videos you'd like to see, happy to take that into consideration, whatever your suggestions are. And are you thinking maybe we should try to do more merch? Because we do have a couple designs that are available on a huge amount of different kinds of items. So I will usually, in pretty much every video, you'll see me wearing a World Hoppers sweatshirt most of the time. But there are not just different articles of clothing, there's also magnets. I actually have a magnet on my fridge. And any kind of thank you from any group that the donation money goes toward is usually on my fridge with the magnet. And the magnet is this cute little narwhal, because if you don't know, that's sort of I don't know why I did this. Their horns are up here. But anyway, that's sort of the mascot of this is Wally the world hopping narwhal. So you can get merch with this cute little cartoon narwhal. And you can get things that are mugs, you can get things that are stickers, you can, I think, get notebooks, you can get all sorts of stuff. But do you feel like maybe we should have different kinds of designs? And if we did, is there a designer that you really like, that you're like, oh, whenever I see that this person is collaborating with creators online, I always want to check out their stuff? I mean, I love artists, so I'm happy to partner with an artist, of course, at some point. Anyway, that's it for our victory lap video. As always, thank you so much for your participation. You are the reason that we're able to do this, and I'm so grateful that we get to do this each year. Thanks so much for watching, though. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you later. Bye.